All right, so we're diving into the world of projectionists today.
Projectionists.
Yeah, you know those behind-the-scenes heroes of the movie theater.
Behind the scenes is right. Most people don't even think about what they do.
Exactly. But luckily, we have this awesome RoleCatcher guide to give us a peek behind the curtain. So it's not just about pressing play, right?
Oh, not even close. There's way more to it. I mean, just look at this RoleCatcher guide. They really dig into all the technical stuff.
The responsibilities, the career path, the whole 9 yards.
It's pretty fascinating, actually.
It really is. So when RoleCatcher talks about ensuring a seamless viewing experience, what does that actually mean in the real world?
Well, think about it this way. Have you ever been to a movie and the image is blurry or the sound is messed up?
Or even worse, the film just cuts out at a crucial moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A good projectionist makes sure none of those disasters ever happen.
They're like the unsung heroes of the cinema.
Totally. They're the ones who make sure everything runs without a hitch.
And from what I see in this guide, that's a lot of responsibility.
It is a lot of responsibility, and they need a very particular set of skills, too.
Yeah, like what kind of skills are we talking about?
Well, you need the technical know-how to deal with all the equipment, but it's more than that. You need meticulous attention to detail, too.
Especially when it comes to handling the film itself, right?
Right. That's something the guide emphasizes a lot. Proper storage and handling of film reels.
Yeah.
It's not just about being organized, though that's important.
It's about preserving cinematic history.
Exactly. I mean, think about it. Those reels, they're holding entire films, sometimes classics.
Sometimes rare prints, even.
If you mishandle those, you could be damaging a piece of history. It's a huge responsibility.
It really is. You know, speaking of history, we can't talk about projection without talking about the elephant in the room. Digital projection.
Right, right. How has the profession adapted to the digital age? Is there even a place for traditional film projectionists anymore?
Good questions. The guide actually touches on this. It says that even with digital projection taking over, traditional film projection still has a place.
Yeah.
Particularly in smaller independent cinemas.
Interesting. So it's more than just nostalgia then.
Right. So what else is driving this demand for old school projection in the age of digital?
Well, some filmmakers argue that film simply has a certain aesthetic that just can't be replicated digitally.
Like that grainy look.
Yeah, the grain, the texture, the way the light hits the film, it's all part of it. There's a reason why some directors still choose to shoot on film.
It's the difference between listening to a vinyl record versus a digital track, you know?
Exactly.
You can just tell the difference.
And for some movie lovers, seeing a film projected on celluloid the way it was meant to be seen, it's just a different experience.
There's a certain magic to it.
Absolutely. It's like appreciating the art form in its purest form.
So even in the digital age, knowing how to handle film, how to preserve it, those skills are still incredibly valuable.
Absolutely. And it's about respecting the craft of filmmaking.
You know, it's funny, though. The guide mentions limited advancement as a potential downside for projectionists. But maybe, just maybe, specializing in film projection.
It might be a strength in this digital age.
Right. Exactly. Almost like being a master craft person in a world of, you know.
Mass production.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if you walk into a theater and you see a classic film and it's on actual film, like on celluloid, you know, there's the skilled projectionist back there.
Keeping those traditions alive, absolutely.
But let's talk career path for a minute.
Okay.
So the RoleCatcher guide lays out a pretty clear progression, entry level, all the way up to senior projectionist.
Yeah, and I like how they use those first-person stories, to illustrate each stage.
Yeah, it makes it way more relatable.
Remember that quote from the senior projectionist? Something like,
About the film inspection process.
Yes. Implemented efficient processes for movie film inspection, loading, and storage.
It wasn't just about the technical side, though, right? It was about taking charge.
Taking ownership, exactly.
Optimizing the entire system.
That's the thing about this field. You really work your way up.
So what's it like for someone just starting out, like entry level?
Think of it like an apprenticeship, You're learning the ropes, assisting the more experienced projectionists.
Getting a feel for the equipment.
Exactly. You might be inspecting films, making sure they're loaded onto the platter correctly.
All those essential hands-on skills. And I bet you get to see some pretty cool movies before anyone else.
Maybe. Maybe not if you're too busy looking for damage and threading reels.
That's true. It's a job that requires passion, but also
precision.
Yeah, you might be handling a priceless piece of film history one minute, and then the next you're
troubleshooting a temperamental sound system. It's a dynamic environment.
Talk about dynamic. The guide says that as you move up to assistant projectionist, there's more independence. What does that look like day to day?
Well, you're not just assisting anymore. You're actually operating the equipment.
Wow, so you might even be handling multiple projectors at once, especially in those bigger theaters.
Right, and you're the one troubleshooting those minor technical glitches, those little things that could disrupt the whole show.
So you got to think on your feet.
Absolutely. Stay calm under pressure. Not everyone can handle that.
But I imagine there's a huge feeling of satisfaction when you pull it off.
Oh, absolutely. You're not just projecting a film, you're ensuring that an entire audience has a seamless, enjoyable experience.
And then you reach the top, the coveted role of projectionist.
The master of the projection booth.
What does it take to get to that level?
Well, by then, you have a deep, almost intimate understanding of the equipment.
You can probably fix a film jam with your eyes closed.
Almost. You can troubleshoot those really complex issues, maintain the best possible image and sound quality.
You're essentially the technical director of the whole cinematic experience.
That's a good way to put it.
So it's not enough to just have the technical chops, right? You need problem-solving skills, adaptability.
A little creativity doesn't hurt either.
For sure. And I imagine there's a leadership aspect to it too, right?
Absolutely. You're often working with a team, other projectionists, the ushers, the theater management.
Making sure everyone's on the same page.
Exactly, like a well-oiled machine.
And the projectionist is the one making sure all the gears are turning smoothly. You know, thinking about career paths, it makes me wonder, are there opportunities for projectionists outside of traditional cinemas?
Oh, absolutely. Think beyond the movie theater.
Okay, so where else would you need a projectionist?
Museums, art galleries, planetariums, even theme parks, they all use projection technology.
Oh, well, right. I saw this amazing immersive art exhibit a while back.
Immersive.
They used projectors to project these moving images onto the walls and the floor. It was incredible.
That must have taken some serious projection expertise.
It really did. And I bet those unique settings require even more specialized knowledge.
You're right. Projection mapping, multi-screen setups, interactive installations. It's a whole other level of complexity.
So basically, a skilled projectionist could apply their skills to create all sorts of engaging, immersive experiences. Wow, that opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
It's really about transferable skills, you know?
Yeah.
You've got the technical know-how, the problem-solving abilities, and the ability to create a truly captivating visual experience. Those skills are valuable in many different contexts.
It's like how DJs have evolved. They went from spinning records to creating these crazy, elaborate audiovisual performances.
Exactly. It's about pushing the boundaries of the technology.
Whether it's film, digital, or a mix of both.
Exactly.
It's pretty amazing to think that even now with streaming and home theaters, there's still a need for that hands-on expertise.
There really is.
But there's one big question that the guide leaves kind of unanswered. With streaming becoming so huge, I mean, will there even be movie theaters in like 10 years? What happens to projectionists then?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Even people in the industry are divided on that one.
Right.
I mean, sure, we're watching more stuff at home than ever.
Yeah.
But there's still something special about seeing a film in a theater, you know, with an audience.
Totally. That shared experience.
Exactly, that gasp everybody lets out at the same time, or that ripple of laughter. You just don't get that at home on your couch.
You just can't beat that big screen experience either for certain movies. Like, could you imagine watching the latest action movie on your phone? No way.
No way, you'd miss all the good stuff. And honestly, I think that's where the role of the projectionist becomes even more important, you know?
How so?
Well, they're not just projecting an image, they're creating an experience, right? Especially with all the immersive cinema formats we have now.
Oh yeah, like IMAX and 3D.
Right. And don't forget 4D with the moving seats and the wind and all that.
Oh man, those 4D theaters are something else.
They are really something. But the thing is, all of that, the synchronized motion, the perfectly timed effects, it all comes back to the projectionist.
They're the ones making sure it all works together.
Exactly. They're the ones who make sure that technology is being used to its fullest.
Wow. It's like they're orchestrating this whole symphony of sights and sounds
That's a great way to put it.
to create this truly immersive sensory experience.
Exactly.
You know, speaking of expertise, I was looking at those sample interview questions that RoleCatcher included in their guide.
Yeah.
And wow, they're actually pretty tough.
Oh, they are. They give you a real sense of what the job is actually like day to day.
Way more than just a typical job description.
For sure.
Like one question was, how do you handle unexpected incidents during a screening?
Because, let's face it, stuff happens.
Oh, it totally does.
Technology can be unpredictable.
It really can be.
A bulb could burn out, the film could break, the sound could cut out right at the most important part of the movie.
Talk about pressure.
Talk about pressure. And in those moments, It's all about the projectionist.
They have to think
They
fast.
have to troubleshoot on their feet, often in the dark, with the whole theater full of people waiting.
That takes some serious skill.
It really does. They're like, I don't know, like tech detectives or something.
Solving cinematic emergencies.
Exactly.
There was another question that stood out to me. How do you maintain a high level of customer service while also doing all these technical tasks? It seems kind of contradictory.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Because you think of it as this behind-the-scenes job, but as we've been talking about, it's actually very interactive.
right. You're part of a team.
Exactly. You have to talk to other staff members, the management, even vendors
Right,
sometimes.
and you have to be able to explain those technical things, in a way that everyone understands. And stay professional even when everything's going wrong,
Exactly. It takes a lot of skill. And that actually ties into another question they asked. How do you stay up to date with the latest technology and trends in the field?
which makes sense because things change so quickly.
Oh, constantly. New formats, new equipment. You have to be constantly learning.
So it's not enough to just know the equipment that you have right now.
No, you have to be willing to keep learning new things, try out new techniques.
Wow, it really is a constantly evolving field.
It is.
They're not just technicians, they're artists in their own right.
Absolutely. They have this unique blend of technical mastery and passion, a real love for the art of film.
Well said. It sounds like a career for those who really, truly appreciate the magic of cinema
I think so.
and who have the skills to bring that magic to life on the big screen. So if you're out there listening and you've ever felt that little flicker of curiosity,
Yes.
if you've ever looked up at that projection booth and wondered what was going on up there,
Maybe this is your sign.
maybe it's your cue to explore the world behind the curtain, you know? You never know what you might find.
You might just find your calling.
Exactly. And until next time, keep exploring and keep the love for film alive.